Hey, I'm Dwayne Barnes presenting my dystopian short story for CIS 3500, Jeremy Lombroso's class. The story is called The Optimized Curriculum. Priya rested her forehead against the cool, smooth surface of her EDU optimized console. The monotonous synthesized voice droned on, dissecting the supply chains of the neo-textile industry with sterile precision. Keywords flashed on screen, highlighted for mandatory memorization. Efficiency ratios, throughput velocity, predictive logistics. There was no mention of the factory conditions, the environmental impact, or the human cost woven into the fabric of global commerce. Those variables were deemed non-essential data points for this module's objectives. EDU Optimize had swept through the education system a decade ago, promising revolutionary gains through data-driven personalization and operational efficiency. Pitched with glossy presentations showcasing rising test scores in pilot districts, it leveraged anxieties about global competitiveness and shrinking budgets. The initial aim, proponents argued, was noble: to ensure every student mastered foundational knowledge effectively. But the definition of effective had narrowed relentlessly. Guided by algorithms prioritizing easily measurable outputs over the messy, unquantifiable aspects of genuine learning. Now, learning was a solitary, optimized grind. The platform monitored everything: Priya's gaze duration, her typing cadence, even her galvanic skin response via sensors embedded in the console's wrist rest. Deviations from expected engagement patterns triggered alerts. A momentary lapse in focus might prompt an automated refocus reminder or suggest a 2-minute cognitive optimization exercise, usually a rapid-fire pattern recognition test. Failure to meet module completion targets impacted a student's learning efficiency quotient, or LEQ, a metric that increasingly influenced future academic and even career opportunities. Human teachers, rebranded as facilitation supervisors, were shadows in the system. Mr. Evans, Priya's former history teacher whose passionate lectures once brought the past to life, now spent his days monitoring compliance dashboards, troubleshooting technical glitches, and conducting AI-flagged behavioral interventions. He occasionally tried to inject discussion into the mandated curriculum, but the systems logged these deviations, negatively impacting his own performance metrics. His spark, the very thing that made him a great teacher, was being systemically extinguished by the relentless pursuit of optimization. Priya longed for the days of group projects, messy debates, and the freedom to follow her curiosity down rabbit holes the algorithm deemed inefficient. She tried once, using the platform's integrated research tool, to look up labor conditions in neo-textile factories. The system immediately logged it as an off-task inquiry and redirected her back to the core module, accompanied by a gentle warning about adhering to the learning pathway optimizer. Resistance felt futile, almost impossible within the software's constraints. The unintended consequences were becoming starkly apparent. Students graduated with high LEQs and impressive factual recall, but demonstrated alarming deficits in creativity, critical analysis, and interpersonal skills. They could recite economic theory, but struggled to empathize or collaborate. Society was producing incredibly efficient cogs for a machine, but the machine itself felt increasingly hollow. The digital divide had morphed into an optimization divide, where students whose learning styles didn't mesh with the algorithm fell further behind, labeled as inefficient learners. A notification pinged softly. Module 4.7b, Supply Chain Bottlenecks, complete. Assessment score, 98.7%. Proceed to Module 4.8a, Predictive Market Analysis. Priya felt a familiar wave of weary resignation. She was acing the curriculum, but felt like she was learning nothing important. This optimized future, born from a desire for improvement, had created a sterile landscape where the richness of human experience was just noise in the data stream, filtered out in the relentless quest for quantifiable efficiency. She clicked proceed, another step deeper into the optimized void. I made this one as kind of the antithesis to my previous story. The other one was about how AI could help children in the classroom. This one is about what happens if we go too far and remove too much of the human element. I do think there might be a way that you can have entirely AI based learning platform, but it's hard to establish team dynamics and teach empathy without actually experiencing it. So I just thought that this would be an interesting topic to cover. All right, bye.